Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of the MMA Huddle. You are joined by myself and Will, and we are going to be breaking down UFC Uruguay with the rematch of Shevchenko versus Carmouche. But the rematch is obviously one in the UFC, one outside the UFC. Before we get to that, though, Will, what did you think of the fight card just gone this weekend? How did you see, for example, Hasrak's performances and stuff like that? What did you think overall of the Colby performance against Robbie as well, bro?
No, actually, I literally got in the door as the main event was taking place and got in and sat down and watched that. But there's nothing else you can really say about that performance. But it was actually pretty incredible from Colby Covington. It was like just pressure from the get go, like I thought it would be, and it was just the amount of strikes he was throwing. You can tell after the first round that Robbie really wasn't going to do anything because he was so, I don't want to say he was gassed out, but he felt the pressure of what Colby could do, and he just like, I can't keep up with a guy like that. And Robbie looked a little off. Colby maybe just made him look as off as he did. Really enjoyed the card. Hack Prass is going to be a problem for some guys. Quick hands. He's got great people behind him as well. Young. He's going to grow into sport. If they don't rush him too quick, that guy's going to be a problem for a lot of people. And Jim Miller did it again. There was other. I can't even really remember the card all that well now. Who else was fighting on it?
Yeah, Jim Miller getting a win was a good one to see. Well, submission. We talked about that in the podcast the week before about the guillotine choke. You know, we said Clay Guida can walk into it, and it happened.
Yeah. I think the other one that who's the one that stood out to me in that fight card? I think it was. Let me see. I'm there. Mearshart. Jared Mearshart.
Looked good in that fight, yeah.
I didn't understand what Trevin Giles was trying to do grappling with that guy because I thought you're just dicing with fire here, and eventually that kind of paid prudence there, and he got submitted. Probably means the UFC's going to keep him around a game, which is decent. Matt Schnell was another guy. You have to be careful with that guy because he's very dangerous on the not super dangerous on the feet. He's decent, but you have to be careful with that guy's ground game. He transitions really easily, and he locks things up really quick. And he's obviously got a really, really tight squeeze. He's super confident when you hear him talk at the minute. So.
One thing I was a bit disappointed was with the light heavyweight division, lack of depth with Stozic and Kennedy. It was a pretty dire light heavyweight fight.
Yeah, it was.
It was bad viewing.
I think Kennedy, I'm trying to kind of hope that he gets better, but he's like...
There's a confidence barrier maybe, I think. I'm like saying to him, you're 6'5". You're 6'5" monster. You should be letting rip with those 1-2s and lighting up that kid. But he just didn't do it. It was peculiar, wasn't it?
He doesn't let go, and he's super hittable. He obviously can take the guy down because Stosic just third round he lit him up,
rushed,
took him down again, lit him up, took him down 3-4 times in that third round. So, and that was just a weird fight from the get go with him getting kicked in the nuts like 3 times. So, that was rough.
He filled his cup after that.
Yeah, I actually think Mickey Gall looked decent, but I think that's more because
Salim didn't.
Tari just did not engage back top.
And that's not how he fought the other 2 fights, which is weird. No,
he'll not be fighting in UFC again. No. Bellator's going to sign him, and they're going to put him on some cards, I believe. The same with Carlo Pedersoli, who looks like he's gone, at Bellator. So, but yeah, I thought overall it was a fairly decent card, and this is a card I'm looking forward to talking about. And then we've got UFC 241, which looks a great card. So
yeah, it's an alright card. It'll do for now, won't it? So we will obviously be breaking down that next week. At the end of this, we'll be breaking down Will's bets. So keep an eye out for that at the end. But let's jump into the card then, bro. We haven't got the tight schedule, so we're just going off what we have. So we're going to start from our bottom, which is a step in. So Alexei Kunchenko has a step-in replacement, which is not a bad one. Gilbert Burns. Will, kick off, bro. What do you see going down?
Yeah, it's just interesting to see Gilbert Burns go up. I think it's a good decision because there was a couple of times I think he was pulled from fights because of his weight cut, and I've watched interviews where he's saying that he's dead after weight cuts, and he's saying now he's moving to 170, that he's going to be full of energy, he's be more explosive, and I 100% believe that. And what else he's got behind him as well is he's coming off 2 wins. He's not one of these guys that's been forced to go up after a couple of losses. He's moved up after a couple of wins, so his confidence is going to be super high at the minute. And we all know about his ground skills. He's you go down there, you have to really be careful in positions that you put yourself in down there. On the feet, I believe he's definitely getting better. You can see that in his last fight, his combination striking. It looks a little bit quicker. He's putting his combinations, kind of varying them a little bit more. His win over OAM's a good one. I think Mike Davis, you'd expect him to beat a Mike Davis at this point in his career. But when you look at Kunchenko, solid is what I just class Alexei Kunchenko. He's just a super solid fighter in a lot of aspects. Is very happy fighting 15 minutes. Doesn't really push his, goes too much out of his way to do anything that he doesn't have to do. And will fight solid for 15 minutes. A good striker himself, can grapple a little bit, beat Okami very easily. Had a little bit of a closer fight with Thiago Alves. That's my only worry, that he fights a little bit close here. But I'm like, I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Burns is going to... It's weird because Burns is actually taller than what Kunchenko is, but I think Kunchenko is a full out welterweight who obviously he's got a bigger cut than what Burns is probably going to have, and he has to make that cut. So he's probably going to be a bit bulkier, a bit more stodgier, a bit stronger actually. And I don't see him taking Kunchenko down. I can see maybe Burns getting clinched up a little bit and just dirty boxed a little bit by Kunchenko. I don't think it'll be like a domination of Burns, but I think he wins via decision. I think he just does enough to win here, and Burns will be a little bit disappointed that he couldn't do more. But Kunchenko's he's a spoiler, he's a hard kind of guy to look good against. So I've got Kunchenko via decision.
Nice, yeah. Burns, he's going to be fun to watch. I think there's some fun fights at 170, like you say. That was something you always noticed when he fought down at 155. There was the gas tank worry, and that could very well be because of the weight cutting. You know, that could have been just depleting his body so he couldn't perform. So I do hope we get a good 3 rounds out of the guy. My only worry is Kunchenko just has nice, solid kind of kickboxing and boxing in his game. And he is short for the division, but he's got, weirdly enough, against Okami and even Alves, he was able to get in the range. He was able to dictate the distance and dictate the jab. And that's a skill set in itself if you're shorter than your opponent. So I've got Kunchenko being able to just pick Burns off here. I think Burns is obviously going to throw some of those strikes because that's why Gilbert Burns can do those kind of big head kicks and big punches, because he doesn't mind a takedown. I just think Kunchenko's got a very good defense, and he's got a good offense as well. He's got good counters. He hits hard, and like I said, the Okami fight is an impressive win. That's a good win on your belt, and it's, for your first 2 fights in the UFC, Thiago Alves, former title contender, Okami again, he's an obscenely good fighter. Even though he's second stint in the UFC, he's a solid guy, huge for the weight class. And he's thick set, Kunchenko, so Burns will have a tough time out. Oh, bless me. Sorry, folks. Kunchenko will have a tough time kind of muscling him down to the ground. I think Kunchenko will just be able to snuff those takedowns, and I just see him getting the win. I just see him just frustrating Burns with jabs and right straight, a couple of hooks in there, and just working that body, mixing up the shots, good shots to the body of Burns to try and get Burns to slow down a bit. So I'm going to decision as well for Kunchenko. He's just a solid welterweight. It's Kunchenko. Just shame he's in the UFC a bit too late, in my opinion. Like 34, 35. I wish he was there like 3 years ago. In the flyweight division, bro, we've got Veronica Machado against Poliana Viana. So it's been a rough time for Veronica of late. Let's put it that way. She is gagging for a win, is the only way to describe it. She's not had any wins in the UFC. She has literally lost every way you can in the first 3 fights. So that is alarm bells for me. If you're getting stopped with strikes, I know it was in a different weight class. You're losing decisions, and then you're losing submissions. Well, they're the 3 kind of fields you least, if you're getting submitted every time, that's cool. That's an area you're weak on. But Ashley Evans-Smith is a big girl for the weight class anyway. Pollyanna as well, not having a great time. She's at least she's got to win the UFC. So there's a slight difference for them in that kind of aspect on a mentality side of things. But on a striking, for me, Veronica, I just feel like she's a little bit impatient sometimes. And like for example, Andrea Lee fight, I thought Andrea Lee just was able to bully her and able to dictate the pace, able just to put it on her. And Veronica just didn't have the right answers for her to come back and strike with to win. I thought, you could box her up, and I think Pollyanna can get this fight to the ground, if I'm honest. I think that Pollyanna's going to start, obviously the fight's going to start standing. Pollyanna is wanting and needing to close that fight distance down because Veronica's got the kicks, she's got the dexterity of the good kicks. But Pollyanna needs to get the fight to the ground. Veronica's shown her kind of the weakest area of her game is the grappling side of things on the ground. And I just think that if Pollyanna can get the fight to the ground, she can get a submission. I think there's a submission there on Veronica. And if I'm honest with you, I'm going to pick Pollyanna because I think she can actually get the fight to the ground. I just don't think Veronica can keep the girls away when she competes against them. I don't think she can get that distance, that respect. And I just got, for me, I'm picking Pollyanna via submission, maybe second or third round, but it's not a super confident pick. But I just think Pollyanna's just scraping it. But I don't know what the odds are. But I'd probably say Veronica has got a good chance of winning as well. A decision possibly at a point on the feet. But I'm going to go Pollyanna sub, mate.
Yeah, I think both girls were actually rushed into the UFC, especially in Veronica's side. I think 5-0 and coming in a bantamweight division as well. She was always going to be super undersized and really up against it. And she's obviously, like Chris, you fought in the same card as her many years ago. Yeah. Girl's got a lot of talent. The one thing that always worries me with Macedo, she jumps. She doesn't really stay in one camp. You look at her Instagram, one day she's in Portugal, or she's in Brazil, and then the next she's in Venezuela, or the next she's in America, Canada. So she never really commits to one gym, and that's like she'll be hearing different things. She's training with probably different people. And is she learning that much? She's obviously at the right kind of division for it, 125 now. But you look at the three people she's lost to, they've kind of all got a superior skill set, at least one above her. Like Ashley Evans-Smith, which is bigger, had wrestling. Abia Lee had the striking, which she can mix in takedowns. And then you had Gillian Robertson, who's just a savage, pretty much. She's finished or be finished, and she's got a superior ground game. In that fight, she was landing a lot of strikes on Gillian Robertson when she was trying to make her entries in to get takedowns. And I was just a little bit surprised she couldn't really keep her off her. But Gillian Robertson's one of those people that if she gets you on the bottom, she's vicious.
Yeah, she must be quite strong. Like she's got deceptively strong because she does seem to keep a good grip on him, doesn't she?
She does. She really does. So I think that was as good a fight as we've seen in the UFC. But when I look at Pollyanna Vian, I'm like, has she got one superior skill set that Veronica hasn't? Or like, has she got a superior skill set like the previous three fighters? And I don't think she has. I think she's got decent jiu-jitsu. I think she's got decent striking. I thought against the fight against Cyphers, she showed a lot of nice knees, a lot of nice counter striking, a lot of nice kicks to the body. But she was very open to being hit by Cyphers, and Cyphers is super aggressive. She'll come forward and throw a lot of shots, and she got put down, I think, in the second round. She flopped to her back a couple of times. Now that's something she might use here. She might kind of flop to her back to maybe try and transition and get a submission or whatever. But I'm just, when I look at it, I'm like, I don't think there's a massive skill gap between these two. I think it's very well matched. Pollyanna's obviously coming in short notice here. Veronica's got Fernan Lopez in her corner, who actually I think she's been coached by him the entire camp, which is something that's a different thing for her. And Pollyanna Vian, I was looking at her odds there while you were talking. She's minus 200. I'm like, ooh. I don't understand.
I thought it'd be like 100 maybe either side for a pair of them, but
Veronica's a big underdog. Veronica is a big underdog, which surprises me because I think it should be lying closer. But maybe people are seeing something I'm not. But I'm going to go for Veronica Macedo to actually win a decision here. I think she's going to outstrike her. I think she's hopefully going to stop the takedowns a little bit more than she has done in previous fights. And like I say, she's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so she shouldn't be like a fish out of water down here either. But
she seems to be when she is, doesn't
yeah,
she? It's weird.
That's the thing, though. Yeah, so maybe that brown belt shouldn't be a brown belt, but she's still only 23 years old. But she needs to really get. This is the last chance. Not unless she does a Nicholas Dalby, goes back out in the regionals, reels off win after win after win after win, and gets back again. But she's still young enough where eventually, when she maybe gets her confidence and realizes what she needs to do, she's going to start winning fights, I believe. So I've got Ciryl will be a very close decision.
Okay, nice. Next up in the lightweight division, we have Alex da Silva against Rodrigo Vargas. I actually quite like this matchup. I think it's going to be a fun scrap. What are you looking forward in this, bro?
Yeah, I like da Silva a lot, actually. I think this is a tailor-made kind of matchup for him. You've got a hard-nosed Mexican that doesn't really like to take the fight to the ground and likes to stand and bang. When you watch da Silva before his first UFC fight, this guy likes to stand, throw a lot of strikes, very quick, very aggressive, hits very hard, combination, a different variant of strikes with head kicks. He can attack the body. He's very, very good with his striking arsenal. Probably with his grappling, he's got a little bit to kind of improve on, but I don't think that's going to be in this fight. I think it's going to be predominantly a stand-up fight, because what I've seen of Vargas is he likes to get the knockout. So I think he plays into Alex Silva's hands, but he's a Mexican, so those guys can fight for days. And they can take shots and keep on coming. I actually think Alex is going to stop him in this fight. If not, I think he wins a pretty comprehensive decision. When you look at Silva's first fight, Yakovlev's he's a tough fight.
How's Yakovlev going down as well?
He
was big for that weight. Like, he was a big, strong guy there.
He tied him up and he got the submission, but I just think there's a better tailor-made matchup for da Silva here, and I like him to actually maybe knock this guy out with a kind of vicious maybe head kick or whatever. I think he's got a good chance to finish here, so I'll go da Silva for the win.
Yeah, you got me as well, bro. When it's the aggressiveness, he is aggressive with his coming forward, doesn't take that step back, and what's hard is if you're not good fighting off your back foot, which not a lot of folk are, you're in a tough spot. And that's something Rodrigo doesn't really do. Like you said, he likes to stand and throw. So I don't think Rodrigo's going to be. He'll be going back because I think Alex will hit him, but then he'll start to bite his gum shut down. I just don't think we'll see Rodrigo be very good at going on the back foot with counter striking. I think he'll probably play into Silva's hands and feet, like you say. I think Silva's going to be very smart, mixing up the combinations. And you got to think to yourself as well. It's a UFC debut for Rodrigo, so does he do like jitters? Does the adrenaline rush get him? There's all those kind of factors we've got to take into account, which you don't sometimes think about. Alex has had his debut, albeit it didn't go how he wanted it to, but shit happens. You know what I mean? You get shit, you make lemonade. But Yakovlev is a tough opponent to face any day. I do like Rodrigo. I think he's going to be a good, fun fighter in the division anyway. I think he's going to just bring some fun entertainment to some cracking fights. You can match him up with some smashing opponents and just beat 7 bells out of each other. But I'm going with Alex da Silva as well. I'm probably going to go decision myself, or late stoppage, because I think Rodrigo's in his career he's not been absolutely messed up in his. So I'm going to go Alex da Silva. But it's going to be a rather stinkingly good fight. Next up, bro, we have in the bantamweight division. This is a fight I was kind of, when I looked over the fight card and reviewed the fights, this is one of the fights actually kind of, to me, I really look forward to. Geraldo de Freitas, or Fritas, however you wish to pronounce it, against Chris Gutierrez. Bro, fun fight, because one thing I like about Geraldo is he's got fantastic conditioning. He can do 3 hard rounds with striking and heavy grappling, and the third round he can still put it on you. He can still get on top, stand for all the heavy ground and pound. The guy just has a great gas tank, which is a weapon in itself. People don't obviously think that, but it is a great weapon itself. I think he's a good opponent himself in the bantamweight division. I think he's going to be a tough opponent for guys. I think he's just got a very good skill set, good strikes, but Gutierrez is a smooth motherfucker on the feet. He is great with his feints, great with his movement. Just like he reads people. He throws the feints with the punches and the kicks, etc. And they obviously react to it. And he learns from their reactions pretty quick. And he's got a lovely fight IQ, Chris Gutierrez. Wonderful corner. When he's in the corner, he gets great advice, which is always key. And they give him just the right information to go there, to apply it to the second round, to do slight adjustments. My only worries with Chris Gutierrez is whenever someone puts the pressure on him, he's out of his comfort zone. So when he's got the distance, he's happy. But as soon as you put the pressure on him and you get on top of him, I feel like maybe that flusters him a little bit. It's something I would like to obviously think he can handle and get over. But I think in this fight he's going to be able to manage the distance enough. I'm going decision Chris Gutierrez because I think Geraldo's just super conditioned, so could take a good kicking, can take a punch all day, and I think he'll make it for the 3 rounds. But it's a fight that's going to be fantastic because Geraldo's not going to gas, he's not going to tire, so Gutierrez is just going to have to be on point for 3 whole rounds. And I just really love, I love the idea of watching Gutierrez go for 3 rounds, mixing up the strikes and just picking him. It's very beautiful watching him strike.
It's a good match. That's what I'm saying. This to me, this card's like a really well matched fight card. I think there's good fights. Really, like the matchmakers did a great job of putting these fights together. I was super impressed with De Freitas' UFC debut. I thought Colares would have had enough for him, but he blew Colares kind of out the water in that fight with his overall game. His striking looked good, super aggressive, very fast, puts combinations well, attacks the body well. But also mixed it in really well by getting takedowns and then passing guard, like not staying in the position there. He was attacking new positions. He was passing really easily, and maybe if you get his opponents down, you should be keeping him there a bit longer because Colares did get back to his feet a little bit easier than I thought he would. But yeah, if you watch that fight, Michael Bisping was going nuts because he was clearly pinging him up in the feet and could have probably finished. But it's that first UFC fight. He maybe just wanted that win. Yeah. Maybe that's the way he fights. So I was super impressed by him. Gutierrez, I thought I was still impressed with his last fight, but I thought, dude, you could have got that kid out of there.
Oh, easy.
McDonald was not offering anything back. He was taking a shit ton of punishment. He was there for the taking. Yeah. If he upped his output, got more aggressive, he would have took that kid out. I've no doubt about it. Like you said, he's very kind of light in the feet. You can see strikes coming through. That's what I think. I think he shows his feints a little bit too easy because he's always feinting his hips, and that usually means he's going to throw a spinning attack or he's going to go to the body or so on. So you can see his feints coming, but his striking is very good. I think he initially comes from a wrestling background, so maybe De Freitas isn't going to find him as easy to get down as he kind of thinks he might, but I think that predominantly this is going to be a striking affair. I think it's going to be very, very close, but I think De Freitas can get takedowns. I think he can maybe catch a leg, get a takedown through that. I saw the Ione Barcelos fight where Barcelos a beast, by the way, so it's two totally different fighters I'm comparing here, but we've seen him getting taken down. Timur Valiev did the exact same when he fought back in the day. I just think that De Freitas can mix up a little bit better than what Gutierrez can. So I've got Geraldo De Freitas in this one here, but I think it could be a really super close split decision either way. But my lean is on De Freitas.
Yeah, it's a wonderful fight. I love that match. Watching both of them, I was like, oh, this is going to be just great fights. Next up, we have flyweight action. Ruggero Boratin against Juliana Pavia. Bro, what are you looking? Well, it's a flyweight fight, so it's going to be 15 minutes of action. But go ahead, bro. Yeah,
it's another well-matched fight. I really another good, well put together matchup. And I'm really happy to see they're still putting flyweight fights on there because flyweights are great fights to watch. We've seen that with Espinosa and Chanel at the weekend. They can end in quick finishes or they can be technical 15-minute brawls. So I was super impressed with both these guys in their debut. I know one lost and one won. I'll start with Paiva. Paiva was a guy that I wasn't expecting that much out against Kai Kara France. I actually bet Kai Kara France. But when that fight finished, I thought Paiva actually won. Yeah. And I felt lucky to cash that bet. But when I went back and watched it, I actually had Kai Kara France, so it was one of those fights that, depending where in the world it could be, it could have been in Brazil, he probably would have got a decision, blah, 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 blah. But super impressed with his aggressiveness, his combination striking to try and tie you up to get takedowns. Didn't really have much luck against Kai Kara France, and what kind of I was a little bit surprised at was the fact that Kai Kara France took him down a couple of times, which he's not really known for taking guys down. He's more of a stand-up guy. But he was attacking the body very well. He was depleting Kai Kara France with his striking. Very long for the division as well. When you look at Bontarin, I mean, he had Bibulatov as a UFC debut. And like Bibulatov, I don't think he's lived up to his expectations when he was in the UFC. I don't think he's with them anymore. But super hard fight to come into. Started off slow. Bontarin was he got taken down by Bibulatov. He was kind of second in the exchanges, but as that fight went into second and third, he was coming into it more, and he was landing the better strikes, in my opinion. I thought he was landing it, and I actually gave it to Bontarin. A lot of people were kicking off that Bibulatov should have won. I bet Bibulatov as well, but I had Bontarin winning that fight. And what I liked, I love watching fighters with guys outside of the UFC, and he's got a lot of fun fights out there. He fought in Brave, he fought in Pancrase. That fight in Pancrase, a no contest because he missed weight.
Yeah, mental, but he missed it by 8 pounds.
Yeah, he missed it by 8 pounds, so he completely goosed that weight cut over there.
Yeah.
But the guy's super aggressive on the ground, can get takedowns, can throw some nice combinations together. This fight's actually a pick 'em odds-wise, so there's no real favourite between them. I've got Bontarin, though. I think Bontarin is more dangerous on the ground. I think he can get takedowns. He might be a little bit of a striking disadvantage, but I think he'll have opportunities to get this fight to the ground, and I'm actually going to pick him via submission.
Yeah, it's one of them ones like the height distance, because, like you say, Paiva, he's just not. He's just a long dude, like a Schmolkrin, just tall dudes for that weight class. And it's one of them classic ones where you need to throw the double jabs to close the distance to get in for your strikes. But Bontarin, for me, that first round, it looked like he was just getting past the kind of sparkly lights, the big moment, and then all of a sudden he went, it's almost like his coach went, cool, you've got the round out of the way, you got your first round in UFC, you've seen what he does, he spins around a lot, jumps around a lot, just kill him, just go, and he just did, he looked like he was there, he should be in the UFC, do you know, as in, it looked like he'd been a veteran, he looked, timing was beautiful on his counters, he was being aggressive, like you said, and Bontarin just looked fantastic in that fight. I was super impressed. I was super surprised. I'm with you, Will. I thought he snatched the second round, and third, I just thought, Smirnov was just throwing the big, extravagant strikes. So in the judge's eyes, it looks like they're fantastic, but you're like, well, yeah, he's thrown a couple, but not landing everything clean. And Paiva against Kai France, you could see he was getting really good. He got a lot more. Third round, he really was coming on. And I went, oh, if only he started the third. Kai France would have had a bad day in the office. Because he was getting those teep kits to the body. He was getting everything landing. He was starting a beautiful counters, like you say. He was just starting to get everything flowing. So I think we'll see a different performance this time round. I think he'll be a lot more loose, a lot more relaxed. But I'm going Bonatiner as well, because I just think that, like you say, with that fight in Pancrase where he just literally grabbed the kid, launched him in the air, smashed him to the ground, and went, "Yeah, I'm choking you. I'm going to. It's my time now." It was beautiful to watch that, and I think he's just got that in him with certain fighters, and I think that this is the kind of fight where he'll be aggressive, get the strikes, and mix the takedowns in, and get success with the takedowns. So I'm with you as well. I'm going Bontarin. Next up, though, we have the ladies. Tecia Torres trying to get back in the W column against, well, to be fair, Tecia Torres is for fucking killer's row in the strawweight division, so no gripes about, the fights that she's lost. She's trying to come back against Marina Rodriguez. I love this fight. I really do. I think Rodriguez surprised me how good she's been in the UFC so far. I thought Tecia Torres is tougher than coffin nails to go through them 3 fights that she's had. And do you know what? Yeah, fair enough, the Jessica Andrade fight was, let's just put it that way, no one wants that fight. I don't think she was too bad against Joanna Jacek. I don't think she was too bad against Willie Zhang either. You know, I don't think she was awful. I thought she did good performances. I thought... I still to this day think she's a 105er at heart. She's like some girls are 105ers, but she has no choice. She's about 2 foot tall. There's nothing you could do. You're in the UFC, just, you know, she's making the most of it. And she looked good against Michelle Watterson at times in that fight, but obviously there's levels to the game. It's like when Michelle Watterson was trying to get a title fight against Jessica Andrade. I went, no one wants to see that. No one wants to see that happen. You'll get battered. But yeah, and you know, every girl she's fought, you know, she lost to the champ Jessica Andrade. She lost to the champ Joanna Jacek, and Willie Zhang. What's Willie Zhang doing? Same thing. She's going to get fired. So she's not. Yeah, it's only decisions. She's got great footwork. She's light on her feet, nice kicks, and she's got lovely explosive combinations. She comes in with a great combo and gets out in time. But she's fighting a girl in Rodriguez who's he'll look about 20 foot taller than her for a start. She's 5'6", 5'1", so it doesn't seem a lot, but you know, Tecia kind of compacts herself down a bit. Jessica Aguilar got lit up, absolutely lit up in that fight. And if it wasn't for her arm she got. I thought that the Randa Marcos fight decision, nah. To be fair, your debut in the UFC, Randa Marcos is just one of those awkward fighters. She's a 500 fighter, but she is tough. She's got not bad wrestling, but man, but her hands are good, man. Like Marina Rodriguez has got hands. She can land some good combos. She's loose and fluid in that Jessica Aguilar fight. Mate, I'm kind of feeling that she's going to light up and time Tecia Torres in the fight, because Tecia Torres has to close distance. It's all about Tecia Torres having to get in. I think Marina's going to be able just to pop off the counters just as she's coming in, land the 1-2s and the uppercuts and everything. I'm going with a decision win for Marina Rodriguez again. I think decision's going to get it. I think Ticia's going to try and get the takedowns, of course. That's going to be a big thing for her. But I think she's going to get caught on the timings coming in, bro. I just think Rodriguez is just going to be able to pick her and it's going to put Ticia's timings off. That's the key. Break the rhythm of Tecia. The jabs from Marina is going to do that, I feel. And I think she can just put the timing off. And I think it'll be a stellar performance from Marina.
Like I say, good matchmaking. It's the right type of matchmaking. You've got obviously Marina who wants to make the step up to facing these kind of girls, and you've got Tecia who really they need to get back in the win column here. So, but when you look at like Ticia's losses, it's like 3 of them had belts, and Willie Zhang could have a belt in 3 weeks' time. So it's like she's fighting the best of the best, and when she fights these girls who aren't in that top 5, she loses. She beats, I should say. Tecia, I think, has always had kind of that. I think it's a Taekwondo kind of background, very, very quick in and out. She's going to have to do that here because Rodriguez is super aggressive herself, and she uses every kind of limit imaginable as well. She'll use the elbows, knees. If she gets a holding in the clinch, you could be in a lot of trouble with this girl. I was a little worried about the Aguilar fight. I know she busted up Aguilar very, very bad, but she, at the end of the fight, her eyes were kind of puffed up. She took some shots from Aguilar, and she shouldn't really be taking that from Aguilar because Aguilar's not predominantly known as a striker. But like I say, she busted up Aguilar pretty convincingly in that fight. And then the fight I kind of looked at a little bit more closely was the Randa Marcos one. Because I thought, right, Tecia, I think, can get takedowns here. And Randa Marcos got 2 takedowns in that fight, and she passed guard a few times. So I think Ticia's got that there, but is she strong enough to get this girl down? I think she is, but she's going to have to come and enter the zone of Rodriguez where she could get hit with an elbow, a knee, or something there, but she might also be able to counter the aggressiveness of Marina Rodriguez, and when she's moving forward, get an easy takedown and maybe keep her there. So tough fight, but I've got Tecia Torres. The fact that as well that Jessica Aguilar from American Top Team fought in her fight only 4 or 5 months ago, that's going to help out. So I've got Tecia Torres to win a very, very close decision.
Nice, nice, bro. Debut for both guys, heavyweight division. He's got a bit of a hype behind him. Ciryl Gane, or Gane, however you wish to pronounce it. Gane, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. He's French, so it's Gane. And Raphael Pessoa Nunes. Will, big boys. Lots of love, lots of hugs, kisses, all that smoochy smooch heavyweight division. What do you see, bro, and these two boys going at it?
Yeah, I was a little bit interested when they signed Ciryl Gane because, there's not a lot of fights out there. I know they're always looking for heavyweights, but this might have been a guy that they should have put in the contender series and gave him a fight under there and seen where he is. And where you got Pessoa, he's coming in 9-0, and you could legitimately give him a contract, but you can see why they signed Gane now, because he obviously held a belt, he defended the belt, TKO, beat a couple of guys who got decent records. Daichka was undefeated up until that point, and he really beat up Daichka pretty badly, but he was a tough dude, that Adam Daichka. He took a lot of big concussive blows to the body, to the head, but what I noticed in that fight...
He's got a body for absorbing them, mate.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, a bit like myself. But he was very, very lean, very bouncy, very, very dangerous with his Muay Thai. I think he was like 12-13 in Muay Thai, so you can see what his predominant skill set is. He's a striker by trade. He throws some weird strikes as well. He throws like double punches and a little bit unorthodox with his striking. But like I said, I think it's a little bit too soon. But then they're matching him up with Pessoa, who's 9-0. Very little tape out there to really watching him. But what you have seen is the guy's a bit of a berserker. He'll throw a lot of kind of strikes, wide windmilling strikes, and he could get countered very, very easily by the kind of technical striking of Ciryl Gane there. Because I looked at this last week and I thought, do I fade this guy? Because I think that there's an opportunity to fade him. I was like, I don't think it is for this Pessoa guy, because I think he is going to be open to counters. So I've got Ciryl Gane via knockout, but I'm not... they're going to have to build him slow, I think. Not too much hype behind him and build him slow, but I've got him via TKO in this one here.
Yeah, I hope they build him slow. Gosh, you need to. He trains with Francis Ngannou. So fuck sparring him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, nah. So he's getting, good level, good quality guys sparring. And I watched him do some pad work and stuff like that in training. Just saw some of the stuff. Some did a bit of grappling, MMA sessions, just to get an idea. Because, like you say, I want to get a bit of a feel of what he's like. And he does look, he looks slick on the pads. He looks confident on the pads. And obviously, it's different than fighting. When he's in the fight game, he is relaxed. He's quite hands low, comes in with speed. I think as his skill set progresses and he progresses, got to be a bit careful. Because he's no Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. The hands down, bouncing around the waist and popping in with those shots. Because Stephen Thompson can do that in the 3rd, 4th and 5th round. There's no way he's going to be doing it. He'll start walking, he'll start plodding because they're heavy, because he's big. I think Nunes is a kind of tough opponent because he's he's well-rounded. Literally, physically well-rounded, so he can probably take a few body shots. He could probably take a few hits. He's been hit a few times, and and like I said to you, he doesn't have one punch power, Gane, because he's so bouncy and moving forward on his feet. When he comes in to strike, he's just hitting you once or twice and popping out, but he's not staying to plant his feet and land that killer blow. He's just coming in, blitz out, and getting out of the way of the shots. I think I'd like to see him maybe do that a couple of times, and maybe on like the 3rd or 4th attempt, special guest here tonight, 3rd or 4th attempt, just see him stop and just unload with a powerful left hook or something, just one heavy shot. I'll pick Gane in the fight because I think he'll have the mindset just to pick and be patient and just pick away at Nunes. I think he's there to be picked at. But I'm with you. You could see Gane gas in the 1st round, and then Nunes just use the old Roy Nelson belly on his face and getting down to the mat kind of thing. So I'm not, you can't go off looks, folks. You really can't. Look at the Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. It's. But I'll go Gane because he can pop, and he's got something I think he's got a bit of talent about him. But yeah, would not be shocked if he lost at all. I wouldn't be arsed either. Next up in the main card, featherweight division. Love this human being, Enrique Barzola, Bobby Moffett. Lovely little fight again. Hey, love it. Enrique Barzola lost to Kevin Aguilar, who, Aguilar is a badass man now. We can just put it out there. He's a dude in the featherweight division. It's going to be wrecking and messing up people. Bobby Moffett is a guy that's slowly grown on me. So I wasn't sure at first, but the dude's got good takedown attempts. He's got good submission attempts. Likes a Darce choke, sneaky little Darce choke, loves that. But he obviously was, when he fought Thug Nasty, he was open to submissions himself because that's what Bryce is very good at. Tough decision, he looked alright in some moments in that fight. He landed some good shots on Bryce. But he's my issue for Bobby Moffett here. He's fighting a guy in Barzola who I don't think Bobby Moffett's going to get too much success in the wrestling department against. I think Barzola's always evolving into the striking game. I think he's still at ATT as well, which they're just on a run, aren't they? They're just looking fantastic. I think Barzola obviously went back to the drawing board a little bit, ironed some stuff out, and I think Barzola's above opponents like Bobby Moffett. I think he's better than these kind of opponents. I just think Barzola's going to mix in his takedowns in this fight and striking, and I just see Barzola getting the win in this. I just think he's got good conditioning, he's got a good output. I just think Barzola is a fantastic featherweight, and I'm still high on him. I don't care that he lost, I'm still high on this guy. So I'm going Barzola decision win, because I think Bobby Moffett is a tough one. I think he'll have moments in the fight where he'll have some good shots, some submission attempts maybe from the takedowns, but I'm going Barzola, bro.
Yeah, good matchmaking. Really like the matchup. Barzola, I think the way you beat Barzola is the way Aguilar beat him last time. If you can stuff his takedowns, you're going to outstrike this guy. I'm not saying his striking's bad, because I think that's something that's thoroughly improved with Barzola. Yeah. But to me, Bobby Moffett is not going to stand and outstrike Barzola. I'd be surprised if that happens, because he is not that type of fighter. He's a wrestler, a submission grappler himself, and he's very good in scrambling. He's very good at locking in some submissions and so on. But when you look at the better wrestler, it's Enrique Barzola. If he's on his game, he's going to take this guy down. Now, he has to be careful he doesn't maybe put himself into a submission attempt or get swept or reversed or whatever. So that's the danger point in this fight, because he's not getting outstruck. I think Barzola's the better striker there. But I like Barzola here. I think Moffett's going to fight tough, though, like he does in every fight. Yeah, it's a close fight, but the line's actually indicating where people are betting on Bobby Moffett in this spot. So a little bit interested in that. But I just think Barzola down in South America, I just think he's going to feel more at home. You've got Bobby Moffett, who's moving to a new camp. He's left MMA Lab, like a lot of fighters have, with the star moving. So, who's predominantly a striking coach and a very good striking coach. So we'll see where that's went since his last fight. But I just don't see this being a stand-up fight. I see it being more a grapple fest, and I see Barzola kind of getting rinse, repeat takedowns and not getting caught in the whirlwind, which is kind of Bobby Moffett, where he can catch your arm on something. So I've got Barzola via decision.
Nice, bro, nice. Exciting middleweight fight. Rodolfo Vieira against Oskar Piechota. Now, Oskar Piechota, good hands, but also got good submission. Well, bro, Vieira is a fucking wizard. And I think he's literally Latifi's little cousin, because he's so goddamn thick and jacked. Will, what is going to happen, though, in the fight?
Yeah, looking forward to seeing this guy. I knew of him a couple of years back. Kind of forgot about him, then heard he was coming into MMA. About him, then I seen he was 5-0. I seen his last fight, and then I heard he was signed to the UFC. I was like, interesting. This is a guy that if he gets you to the ground, I think you're in trouble. Just watch some of his jiu-jitsu matches out there. There's one where Piechota was a I think it was 2014. It was an unbelievable jiu-jitsu match, and he showed his whereabouts, where he is, where he stands in the jiu-jitsu world with matchups like that. He reminds me of Damian Maia, who works seamlessly to get the takedown, but once he gets the takedown, he flows from position to position, super easy. You give him the slightest opportunity, he jumps on it. You give him the slightest opportunity to get the position, he'll probably stay there for the rest of the round, like Damian Maia usually does. Striking's not great, obviously. Doesn't really have much with his hands, but what he does have is decent kicks, decent low kicks. And the guy's in shape. The guy's completely in shape, with really good people. I think he works out with Jackery and so on. But he does cut a lot of weight, which kind of worries me a little bit. But that, along with Piechota, is not actually a bad fighter. Pichota's actually not a bad jiu-jitsu guy himself. I think he won the ADCCs over here in Europe. So he's won some things with that. Oh, so the dog's just going in there and trying to knock the table over. But yeah, I just think if he gets this fight to the ground one time, he could submit Piechota. I think he's just levels above this guy. It's kind of like Claudio Silva last week, that if he gets it to the ground, he could be in a lot of trouble. So I've got Rodolfo Vieira to get a double leg, get the takedown, seamlessly move to the back and get a rear naked choke. So Vieira for me.
Yeah, you can watch Vieira's MMA career, so to speak, ACA on YouTube, and so beautiful to watch. That rear naked choke that he got in his latest one. I couldn't. He was so quick. He had one hook in, and there was just like a small opportunistic window. Puts the choke in and I couldn't see he had that choke in from the angle at first, and then you see the guy's head go down. He taps out, and it's only when they put the other angle, and you're like, that is disgustingly good level jiu-jitsu. Like, he can tell from the feel and the body where your neck is. It was horrible to watch, because I thought, that would just be, you just feel belittled getting that done to you. The guy was 10-0, do you know, and he legit obviously get 10-0. Oskar, like you say, he is. It's kind of like those incidents where Gunnar Nelson fought Damian Maia. You're like, Gunnar Nelson, he's a grappling master, and then Damian Maia went, no, me grapple master, I show you jiu-jitsu. And then you just kind of went, oh shit, there's levels to this black belt game. That's kind of what this fight is. If you're Oskar Piechota, you are going to be on your back foot for 3 rounds, from 1-2s, and that is it. If I was doing anything, I would only throw a 1-2. What's the point? There's no point in risking that beast getting hold of you, because that is what Vieira is. He's an absolute beast. He's got no neck. His body's thick. It looks like a hunchback of Notre Dame. And he's just got this freak gorilla strength. Like, all you have to do, if you're going to beat him, is just run round in a backward circle. I would have just got Oskar Piechota on the treadmill, running backwards, hitting a pad, just jabbing a pad. That's what would have been a 6-week fight camp. Every now and then make him sprawl on the treadmill. But that's all you could do. But it's not going to happen. You know, people can't run backwards for 3 rounds. It's too hard. Do I think he can land a couple of shots on Vieira? Of course I do, because Vieira's not going to go straight for the takedown. Of course Vieira's going to make it look like he's going to strike when we know what he's going to do. He'll probably throw a looping overhand right and go in for the single leg takedown. Because the looping overhand right brings the guard up and the defense to block it from hitting your face. And then your front leg is light because you lean back onto your rear leg, so it invites that single leg takedown. So I'm going for the single leg whale, gets it down. And I think Oskar will probably survive a bit longer than some of the other opponents. But got to go Vieira submission, haven't you? It just seems a bit silly if you don't, really. Now, light heavyweight division, no time. Volkan Oezdemir against the stud Latifi. I was humming and hawing on this fight, if I'm honest with you. Went back and forth on it. I think it's the 600th time they tried to get this fight together, but it's an interesting one for both parties, because Volkan was actually surprisingly impressive against Reyes, or was maybe Reyes not that impressive? Did Reyes have an off day? You know, you don't know which one, but I thought as a whole he did do well against Reyes. I was impressed. I thought kind of bounced back from the losses, and maybe you find Volkan found his level in the light heavyweight division. Maybe he's not the lower echelon, he's not the elite, he's just one of those middle ground guys. And Latifi's kind of like that as well. Latifi's not an elite, he's not the lower, and I think that's what this matchup is. But you're not going to... Latifi does not have Corey Anderson opposite this time, where Corey Anderson's got the higher level grappling, wrestling and all that stuff. I see Volkan in a similar style to like a Tyson Pedro / Ovince St. Preux, where he'll come with the strikes, but Latifi just throws bombs and he comes with punches and bunches. But I think he can get takedowns on Volkan. He's got lower centre of gravity. He's like a little bull, just his compact body. I think he'll attack Volkan with the strikes and get the takedowns on Volkan. You know, just where, because you saw in the DC fight, when Volkan got to the ground, he kind of looked a bit lost. Looked like he was a bit out of sorts. For me, if you're Latifi, you know, let Volkan come forward with the aggressiveness, counter with a couple of heavy strikes, get the takedown in, and actually just get Volkan down and keep him down. TKO, submission if it's there, whatever. You know, as you can imagine, Latifi's an excellent triangle expert. But, well, I'm going to go with Latifi with a victory on kind of in like a mounted position, whether it be side control or guard. But I just think Latifi's going to hit Volkan, get him down, and just rain upon him. You know, bring the Valhalla down upon Volkan Oezdemir. So yeah, I'm going with Latifi on that one. But Volkan has done well in the Reyes fight. I do give him kudos to that. So it did make me have to think twice when I watched tape study on it.
Yeah, I'm going the other way. I'm actually going Volkan. And you know me through this. I've never been the biggest kind of Volkan admirer or anything at all. I've been a little bit. I thought he was overhyped from the get-go, pretty much. And obviously having a couple of KOs where you literally touches somebody and they fall over, that's always going to help. But I thought he was a little bit unlucky against Dominic Reyes, I'll be honest with you. I thought he kind of got the win in that one, if I'm being honest. There's this whole thing with him not being able to train in America, so visa issues, and been training with Overeem and I think it's Karatonov. He's been out there in Thailand and in Switzerland as well. So yeah, there's that whole thing as well. But I've just got the feeling that Latifi's going to start declining a little bit. And he's always one of these fighters, if you can catch him with a decent shot, you can put him to sleep. And Volkan, if he has got this power that he goes on about and we've kind of seen in the past, then I think he could knock out Latifi. But like you said, Latifi can definitely, if he can lower that centre of gravity and get takedowns and start tiring out Volkan, then that could become an easy way for him to kind of win the fight through that. I actually think he's just going to catch Latifi. I think he's going to knock him out in the first round.
A Ryan Bader.
Yeah, I've got a funny feeling he's just going to catch him with a big shot. And Latifi, we've seen him stumble in many fights after getting hit with a big shot, and he just latches on for dear life. But I think Volkan's actually going to get him out here, and I'm going for a first round TKO for Volkan Oezdemir.
Ooh, no time will, eh?
Yeah.
Nice. Check you out. I say surprise fight, but a guy is from Uruguay, so hence why he's positioned in the card. Like, that's the only reason that it's the oh gosh, Luiz Garagorri, Bonucci, Pagucci, Gucci, whatever you want to call him. Humberto Bernardi. Just preposterous that they're on this high on a card, really, isn't it? But it's UFC. I get past even trying to think how the UFC function. Will, you get the joy of starting to look at this.
This is a hashtag shit fight. Hashtag shit fight. Like I say, there's only one reason, well, two reasons that Garagorri is making his UFC debut. Is they're in Uruguay. They needed a fighter from Uruguay, and he's undefeated. So that's pretty much one of the only reasons he's getting in there. And who do you give him? You give him Humberto Bandanay, who has looked like complete cack his last couple of fights, but is also from South America. So, I mean, there's not all that much in Garagorri, but what you do find is absolute complete dog shit. Like, It is. I remember that the first one I found was his fight from October 22nd, 2017, and it's against Raphael Cosio, who is 36-0, and it's the only fight he's ever had. And I promise you, I could fight longer than 30 seconds, longer than this guy. Because this guy looked like he'd literally been pulled out of a bar. You're fighting, put a pair of gloves on him, and he got absolutely starched. And you look at his last 5 wins as well, all in the first round.
Yep.
All inside the first 2.5 minutes of the fight. That's Uruguay regional MMA for you. That's crazy. I don't know the records here. I'm looking at one. I know the Cosio.
Some of them are pretty shit, mate.
His last one was 0-1.
Yeah, last 2 fights. The last 2 guys were last 3. 2 of them made their pro debuts.
Yeah, 7-3, and then there was another 0-1. So it's like, I mean, holy shit. And then you've got Bandanay, who, like I said, he looked terrible last time out. He looked like he did not want to be in there. Austin Arnett absolutely beat him into oblivion in that fight, which is something that should never really happen because Arnett's solid, to be fair, but Bandanay looked horrific in that fight.
He looked so tired after the first round. I'm like, how are you a 45 and have no gas tank?
It was bad. # bad. But what I will say is the fact that he's got a UFC win. He's had 3 fights in the UFC, which is a lot more than what Garagorri's had. All the pressure is really on Garagorri because he's fighting at home. He's probably sold a lot of tickets for this, so everything's kind of on him. I'm not going to pick this guy just based off the fact he's from Uruguay and he's selling some tickets and he's 11-0. I'll pick Bandanay for the fact that he's probably not that much better, but he's got a little bit more experience. He's got more fight, more losses. He'll learn from them. We hope. But yeah, I'm going to go very not confident. I'm going to pick Humberto Bandanay in this # shit fight. So yeah, I'm not picking Garagorri, even though he'd probably end up coming out here and turning the lights off. But I'm going to go Bandanay, and I don't even care. I just think he's going to win the fight.
Yeah, Luiz, I watched a fight where he was fighting a guy that took him down with ease. He showed a couple of submission attempts, so he did show he's got some submissions. He literally had a triangle on and couldn't finish it, which was preposterous. But he's so placid. He's so non-aggressive. Yeah, he's got these Muay Thai shorts on, and you think, Muay Thai guy's going to just whip in the kicks. Good. No. He wears them because he probably got them for $1. He's not a Muay Thai dude, and if he tries to claim he is, he's full of shit. I'm going to go with Humberto on the basis that Humberto's more aggressive, at least in the first round. Humberto gives it a bit of beans, a bit of gusto. Yeah, fair enough. He fades big time in the second. It's like, well, I've got to do that. I've got to do that again. Oh no! Like it's like he's not known for 6 weeks that he had 3-round fight. But I just feel like Luiz is, like you say, mate. It's all PR stuff. It's what's really frustrating is they don't need to have that fight on the card for their tickets to sell, but they do it anyway. It's like a gesture of goodwill. Yeah, I'm not looking forward. I feel bad for Luiz because he's going to lose to Humberto, which is bad enough. And then whoever else they put makeup against is probably going to get battered too as well. I think Humberto could take Luiz down if he wanted that will and just beat the crap out of him on top. But he won't. He'll stand. But I just think Luiz doesn't... I just thought he was too placid on the feet. He was too patient, too calm. He offered a couple... He did one or two good strikes, but Humberto, because, like you say, the opponents Luiz had, there's no confidence. There was no fight in them, really. There's only one guy who showed a bit of fight, and other than that, it was a bit... yeah, awful. Anyway, let's move on for that. It's co-main event. Oh my word, this is going to be effing insane. This is a potential fight of the year, if you think about it. Yeah, Vincent Luque had a potential fight of the year with Barbarena, to be fair. And then then the UFC think, I know what we'll do, we'll be nice, and we'll give you another one. Like, oh my gosh. So, Brian Barberena in February, then Derek Krantz, who stepped in short notice, obviously. But luckily he's had enough time to recover from a Brian Barberena fight. I still think it's bells ring, pair of them. But this fight's insane. You know, Mike Perry, we know what he's going to do. He's going to stand there and be patient and wait till you just come in his range, and then he's just going to blitz off a Mike Tyson-esque combination and just wreck you. I didn't think he looked too bad against Oliveira, Cowboy. I don't think he looked too bad in the second and third round. I thought he was doing well. Dropped Oliveira a couple of times. Once he got everything ticking over after the first round, I thought he looked all right. My only kind of worry for Vincent Luque is the dude gets hit, and I think Perry's chin somehow is a little bit better than Vincent Luque's. Like in the Brian Barberena fight, he was getting cracked in the first round. Brian Barberena dropped him, and it looked like he was out in that first round. You know, at the end of that first, it looked like Brian Barberena ended him because you just kind of saw Luque body just fold over. Mike Perry's got to have hit harder than Brian Barberena. He's got to. Man, I'm looking forward to it because they're just going to be. It's going to be funny because they're just going to be plod, just get in range of each other. Brr, step away, plod, brr, step away until one man falls. I can't wait for it. I'm going to go Mike Perry for the winner, mate. I think Mike hits harder, has a little bit better chin. I know. I can't believe I'm picking Mike Perry, but I just think he'll fall. I think Vincent Luque will fall into the trap, and Mike Perry's just going to be patient and just absolutely blitz off on him. And it feels weird picking Mike Perry because I think Vincent Luque is a bad motherfucker, but I just think Mike Perry does hit really hard, and he worries guys, he hurts guys when he hit that power. And I think Vincent Luque will get into that range because Vincent Luque has to get into that range himself to land. So I'm going to pick Mike Perry via stoppage because there's no way this is going decision.
Like I say, it's a good fight. It's a great co-main event that they've put on here. Two good fighters, two exciting fighters. They kind of fight varying kind of styles. You've got the technician in Luque who is really just unbelievable in many facets of the game with his jiu-jitsu, which is very opportunistic. You leave your head or your body part in one position, he's going to take it. His striking is so technical. Just don't get into a brawl. I think he wins this fight if he doesn't get into a brawl. If he gets into a brawl, there's one winner because Barberena was piecing him up in certain aspects of that fight, really hurting him. And Perry has got more power, there's no doubt about it. The guy's vicious with everything that he throws. And I was a little bit surprised at how easy he kind of handled Alex Oliveira, who's also, he's not a technician or he's not, I think he is as dangerous as Luque, but not as technical. But that's kind of the one thing there. And plus, when you look at Mike Perry's fight IQ, sometimes he does things that can defy belief. It's like go for takedowns on jiu-jitsu guys or like good jiu-jitsu guys like Cerrone. If he does that in this fight here, he'll get submitted as well. So he needs to keep up. He needs to make it a brawl. If he makes it a brawl, he's big favourite to win that fight. I just think that Luque can keep it distance, pop him off, maybe use the aggression where he can get a takedown, and then actually think he could maybe grab him up on a submission. But I do think it's a little bit risky for Luque. I think it's a hard fight for him, but I've got him winning the fight. I think he could snatch up a submission at some point, and I'm not too convinced that if he was to snatch something up, that Perry would be able to kind of get out of it. So I'll go Vicente Luque via sub, kind of late in the fight, maybe late in the third.
Nice, bro, nice. Yeah, if he gets sucked in again, oh gosh, it's going to be beautiful. I kind of want it to be like that, like the Brian Barberena fight where it was crazy. Just war. Do you know, it was just fantastic. Main event, like we said, rematch. Valentina Shevchenko. Last week, sister won, buzzing, first UFC win. A little bit of a hype with them against rematch against Liz Carmouche, who she lost to in the past, back in 2010, when she was obviously still learning the craft. Doctor's stoppage in the second round. So, does Liz have a psychological advantage? Probably not. Well, break down what you see in this fight.
Yeah, well, it's hard to kind of go off the first fight because it was a doctor stoppage.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing, it was an up kick that caught her in the eyelid and cut her eyelid, and she was supposedly winning that fight as well, was Shevchenko. So the kind of way I've thought about this match is, right, how does Carmouche win over 5 rounds because she's not going to outstrike Valentina. Valentina's too precise on the feet, and she doesn't really waste many strikes, and she can set stuff up really well like she did with Jessica, and she absolutely crumpled her with that head kick. The way I see kind of Carmouche win, if she can really lock up Shevchenko, take her for a ride, ragdoll a little bit, get those takedowns, tire her out a little bit. But then when I think about the matchups that Shevchenko's had and the people she's fought and she's fought close with, I don't think Carmouche is really in the same kind of level as Valentina Shevchenko. Maybe years ago when they first fought, possibly, but supposedly she was losing that fight as well. So I just see this and as well, this kind of crept to my attention when I watched Antonina last week, was the Shevchenko girls are actually really, really efficient with their jiu-jitsu. You never really seen that with Antonina too much, but Valentina, it kind of reminded me of the Juliana Pena fight where
the armbar.
Everybody thought that Pena had the big submission advantage, the grappling advantage, and she got submitted by Valentina, and we've seen it last week with Antonina as well. So those girls obviously work in every facet. Obviously they come from striking backgrounds first, but they work in their jiu-jitsu a lot, and training with each other's only going to help. I just see Valentina really easing to a pretty easy decision victory here. I think outside of a Carmouche maybe submission that she catches her in, I'd be surprised if Carmouche comes in here and wins. So I've got Valentina to win pretty much like a 49-46, 40, 50-45 kind of fight for me.
Yeah, but as well, what would be crazy if Liz won, she's only ever had a 2-fight win streak. She's never ever went more than 3-fight win streak. So if she win this would be her longest win streak, and she's somehow got a title fight, and she got a title fight beating Lucy Pudilova. So there's a lot about the division still. It's still growing. It's still developing. It's still trying to get depth, and I just don't see what she's got to do. I think Shevchenko could stuff takedowns. I think Shevchenko can outstrike her with fucking ease with her one arm tied behind the back. I think Liz Carmouche, she's too rigid with her striking. She's too, I think she's too tight. I think the range. I think she's not very great at managing the range. She gets hit a lot as well. Look at the Alexis Davis fight. She can get taken down and she has a hard time getting up. And when Alexis Davis on the back, she nearly got that armbar as well. Never mind Ronda Rousey. Alexis Davis nearly got it a couple of times, triangles and armbars and stuff. And I think Shevchenko would absolutely rip that arm off, given the chance. I think Shevchenko was leaps and bounds above Alexis Davis. So I think even when Liz Carmouche is on top, I think she's in trouble with someone like Shevchenko. I just don't know where or can't see how she's going to win. She doesn't hit hard enough to knock someone out. Generally what Liz does is just kind of beat you with a bit of pressure, beat you with a bit of overworking you. She's not going to outwork Shevchenko. Valentina is a ridiculously well-conditioned 5-round fighter. I just don't see what's going to happen. I just think it's going to be a 5-round masterpiece. And like we said, bro, Amanda Nunes leaps and bounds in the 135. Shevchenko is leaps and bounds in the 125. It's just one of those moments like Joanna Jacek. She was leaps and bounds for an extended period of time. Like Ronda was leaps and bounds for. It's just that wave at the moment. Shevchenko's leaps and bounds. I don't care who wins between Calderwood and Andrea Lee. I think the pair of them would lose to Shevchenko as well. Even if there's talks of that, or Kukogen, who just screams when she strikes, I think she'll get lit up like a Christmas tree. I just think Shevchenko's that exceedingly good in that. I don't think there's not much going to happen. So that's the main card. That's the whole card. Uruguay picked. Let's go to the bets, Will. Will, who are you saying for bets, bro?
Yeah, like I was saying kind of earlier on last week, I really didn't like any of the bets that I put on, but managed to cash every single one of them. So this week, just looking at it, I have one bet already, but I think there's a lot more spots I just think there's a lot better spots on this card if you can see the right spots. That is, my one bet that I have so far is Geraldo de Freitas. I bet him yesterday morning. I thought to myself, right, I think he's going to be the underdog for the whole entire week. I think I'd be surprised if that really changes. So I thought 1 plus 120 I think is a good number. I'm going to go in that. So I came back late last night and I just had a little look at the odds, and I seen that someone had dropped a serious amount of money on Freitas where it's moved him to a favourite, and now he's a minus 125 favourite.
Oh gosh!
Where Gutierrez is now the underdog. So that's changed quite exponentially. So I was happy that I got on that, especially now because it looks like he's going to finish off as a favourite. But like I say, there's closely lined fights there. There's, I think Alex Silva's actually a pretty good parlay piece, minus 265. Kunchenko's minus 150. I don't think that's a bad line personally. If you can get anything lower than that, I think it's decent. Bontarin is minus 110, minus 115 is now. Sorry, so he's not far off being underdog odds, but that's close. That's pretty close to underdog odds. Torres for me is minus 150. I think that's close. Rodriguez is plus 130. If you like Bobby Moffett, plus 145, 165 for Barzola. Volkan's minus 140.
Does it look like a parlay card then? Because the odds are quite close there. Everyone you said there, they're not big. There's not like a wide gap on the odds there. Do you think it's a kind of parlay card then? To
me, it looks like a straight bets card for me right now. Just because I see like Torres, I would play at minus 150. Bontarin, I would play at minus 115. Kunchenko would play at 150. When I look at parlays, the one that I really liked yesterday was Vicente Luque and who was the other one? Barzola. But then I've kind of changed that a little bit. I'm not too sure about Luque, but I've put Rodolfo Vieira, who's minus 220. You can get him a lot lower over here in the UK. So maybe Vieira and someone like a Barzola, but his line's coming down where you can play him straight as well. So
right, okay.
I'm going to see a lot of people this week. In fact, I'm looking at it now. People are betting Valentina. She's minus 12.50.
Mate, it's insane. I saw that. I couldn't believe her odds.
I couldn't bet anything that high. So a lot of people are betting her, parlaying with Ciryl Gane, and then putting in someone else like a Vieira to try and get close to plus money. That's sketchy to me. Ciryl Gane's 3-0. I can see why he's favoured that highly. Valentina, she's probably rightly favoured that high, but it's still dangerous betting those numbers. But yeah, Alex de Silva might be one that I look at parlaying with maybe a Rodolfo Vieira, but I like a lot of straight picks in this one.
Nice.
Like I say, I like Volkan. I can play him straight, I can play Barzola straight, I can play Torres straight, Bontarin straight, Kunchenko, so there's 5. And Macedo I actually think's got value at plus 155.
155, okay, that's good, yeah.
Plus 155, so yeah, I think there's a lot of value, there's a lot of good bets to be made in this card. You've just got to find the right spots.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, but then there's like I say, I think it's a really good card for betting compared to last week where I just felt uncomfortable.
Yes.
Mickey Gall and Kennedy Nzechukwu and all that jazz. So I feel better this week looking at it, and then just having a little look at UFC 241. There's some decent odds in there as well. So I'm interested to talk that card next week. That is a solid card, and I'm not just going
disgusting, mate. Disgusting.
Just going outside your main event, which is a great fight. Obviously, Pettis and Diaz is a great fight.
What are those two dad bod guys who are fighting as well?
Yeah, Costa and Romero.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Benitez, Sodik Youssef, Sanhagen, Asensau, Hiago's closer. Great fight. Kenny and Manny Bermudez, such good fight. So looking forward to speaking about that next week. But that's us through for Uruguay. So looking forward to watching this one this weekend.
Yeah, let us know your bets below, folks, and obviously hit the subscribe button. I forgot to do that at the start because I'm a dickhead. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.